I got some breaking news. The cops are called. Someone please call 911. TMZ is reporting that there was a wellness check at a nice, fancy hotel for, you guessed it, King Ryan Garcia. It reads, Ryan Garcia, cops called to check on the boxer after hotel incident. Exclusive. Ryan Garcia was checked out by cops at a fancy hotel in LA Wednesday night when a family member called authorities after they became concerned for the star boxer's well-being. So they didn't reveal what family member, dad, mom, brother, cousin, we don't know. TMZ Sports has learned. Law enforcement sources tell us officers responded to the Waldorf Astoria in Beverly Hills for a wellness welfare check in the early evening after the 25-year-old family called the police. Unclear exactly what led to the call being made. This is the hotel, I guess, that he was at. And it says, our sources say cops spoke to Ryan Garcia at the hotel and determined that he was okay and was not a harm to himself or others. And being no crime was committed, everyone went on about their business and went their separate ways. Of course, the 25-year-old Ryan Garcia has had a few hectic months. He previously beat undefeated star boxer Devin Haney, but was then popped for using a PED. Ryan Garcia has adamantly said that he didn't cheat and instead took a tainted supplement. Although law enforcement left, that wasn't the end of the excitement for the night. Sources with direct knowledge tell us Ryan Garcia, who was apparently drinking, was cut off by Waldorf the staff after alleged erratic behavior later on that same night. Story developing. Now, if you guys are anything like me, ego, you are getting sick and tired of the Ryan Garcia shenanigans. His fight at this point has ended over a month ago, and we're still dealing with the residuals. From Ryan testing positive with Ostarine, we're still involved in that. Now you got TMZ who's saying they're receiving police calls and wellness checks and checking up, and Ryan getting drunk or drunk enough to the point where the hotel has to cut him off. It's just a lot going on. I think Ryan Garcia, I know he's young. A lot of young people in this Gen Z, they do not want to listen to old heads. They do not want to listen to their elders. People like Boxingego. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon only if you know boxing. If you don't know boxing, don't bother. But this new generation, they seem almost hell-bent on doing things their way, even if it's detrimental. Ryan Garcia, he had this victory over Devin Haney, and people were praising him. It shook up the boxing game, and now he's dealing with a different battle because he has this in the system, and now he has to explain it. And then, you know, he's just nonstop. Like, Ryan is not, this year's probably been the worst year for Ryan Garcia. I'm sure he might feel a different way in certain regards. Maybe he'll say this is his best year, but there's also a lot of BS that's come with it. For example, when Ryan Garcia fought against Gervonta Davis, you didn't see or hear all of this lunacy that we're getting with this newfound Ryan for whatever reason. And to tell you the truth, I preferred it that way. Ryan Garcia is a boxer. He made a lot of coin, you know, and it could just be that. But these prophecies about earthquakes and save the kids and feigning a kidnapping and these premonitions and weird statements, these erratic tweet storms where you're just saying a bunch of different things and speed dating. It's all too much. That's just what it is. as the saying goes, fame ain't for everybody. And some people, it's like they have talent. Ryan has talent. It's got him to this point. But now his talent is starting to take a backseat, if you will. And it's just real antic heavy. And I think that's not really, and I said this before the fight, which we'll get into, stay tuned to the end of this video. It's not the life of a boxer, and it's not the preferred life that a boxer would want to have. Like, I think people get confused with like the rappers and the rock stars and a lot of celebrities that are pro athletes. They got the money, but they want to live the rapper / rock star life, you know, being on the road, having groupies and a bunch of chicks and some substance abuse and drugs and alcohol and fast life. Also, you know, even wrestlers are pro athletes, but that, especially in the 90s, the era that I come up in, I think it was a bit different, where there was a duality with a lot of the wrestlers. But wrestling, although you can really get injured and things like that, it's not the same as combat sports like boxing, where you could really get hurt and you can lose your life. I don't know too many wrestlers that lost their life because of the match. Not saying like Owen Wilson, where there was a error in faulty equipment or anything like that, or substance abuse, or Chris Benoit, like nothing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about they got pinned on the canvas and then, you know, they lost their life right then and there. But we see it frequently in the sport of boxing, where fighters, some of which are brand new, like there's a guy this year and he unfortunately lost his life in his pro debut. He got injured and never, you know, woke up from his injury in his pro debut. So it was his first fight ever. Rest in peace to him. I guess what I'm trying to say is that life is not conducive for a boxer. Boxers, you have a short window. There's only so long that either you choose, your body chooses, your brain, your skull, your chin, your passion, your drive will choose this lifestyle. So I've always maintained this. You gotta get in and get out when you can. And hopefully when it's all said and done, you have your wits about you and you have all your faculties. Unfortunately, a lot of boxers don't heed this warning, or they try to do it late. Like they'll do all the mistakes up front. People are trying to help them. And then when they're washed up, they're still trying to fight for paychecks because they blew through money. They didn't manage their money. They had fallouts. They had lawsuits. They had relationships with no prenup, you know, marriages, divorces, bad managers that were stealing, an accountant or a CPA that didn't pay their taxes, you know, all these different types of problems. And then they are stuck with the bills, stuck fighting when they're at an advanced age. And it's really unfortunate to see, and I don't prefer to see it. And I also don't prefer to see young fighters like Ryan Garcia, who hasn't even touched 30 yet, and they are living, in my opinion, a dangerous life because they're teetering from what should be happening, in my opinion, in terms of being disciplined as a pro athlete. You're not going to have that long of a shelf life in the sport of boxing unless you make a lot of right choices. Ryan is naturally talented, yes, but if he's drinking all the time, wait, you'll see. When he starts getting older, maybe you can get away with it when you're 18, 19, you know, sneaking drinks, or 21, 22, and you're drinking. As you get older, that becomes harder to live that lifestyle. And unfortunately, people have already developed the habit by then. So we'll see how it all works out. But I keep seeing videos and TMZ reports and things like that, where it truly looks like Ryan Garcia is almost spiraling out of control, or out of control in his private life, trying to be around people, women, drugs, flying, travel all the time. It's just, all that stuff is not good. You're better off being tucked away, you know, have a small inner circle, not this big, massive entourage. Because I'm telling you, when you're winning, you're winning. When it gets dark, it really gets dark. And I know that from firsthand experience dealing with fighters. And I've seen that stage of their career. Everybody wants to be along for the ride when it's popping. Not everyone wants to be there when you're losing, when you're getting punched and knocked down and, losing the guys that you, in your prime, you probably wouldn't have lost to. And you're looking like a shell of your former self. That's when it gets real dark. And I wish there was more for boxers in terms of therapies and pensions and just options for boxers, because I know a lot of them when they're young and when they're winning and they're champions, you can't tell them nothing. They got big egos, they got people around them, yada, yada, yada. But it's a real thing, that other side, if you don't continue to win. And I think all boxers should heed that warning. But we will see what happens next with Ryan Garcia. This happened, the situation with the wellness check. He's in the middle of an investigation. He looks like he's living life in the fast life. We shall see what happens next with his career. I think the next most important thing is what happens to his boxing career, and that's going to be dependent on the New York State Athletic Commission. For more boxing news, I am your guy, Boxingego.
Hey guys, it's me, Ryan Garcia. Demonstration number 1. I'm going to teach you how to shadow box. Stop. And now, push-ups. And then one-handed push-ups. There you go.